Hello, my name is Emily. My work is in between art and architecture with a touch of fun. One of the things I really like to do is using objects I find in my house and make models out of it. And that is exactly what we are going to do now. Triangle is such an amazing shape, so simple but so strong. You just can't twist it. Triangles are used all the time in architecture to make the structure more rigid. It's called triangulation. You're going to see that in a minute with a little experiment. But first, you need to prepare the materials. Let us cut the straws into little tubes. With a ruler, measure and precisely mark some straws every 4.5 centimeters and other ones every 6 centimeters. For a start, you'll need 15 short ones, 4.5 centimeters long, and 6 long ones, 6 centimeters long. Now, cut them neatly with scissors. You are going to use some thread and a long needle to assemble your tubes. If you don't have a long needle, you can make one out of wire. Cut a 10 cm long piece with pliers, then fold the end and twist it, leaving a little hole at the end. Now cut a piece of thread and pass it through your needle. Right, we've got all we need now. Take 4 small tubes. Pass a thread through all of them and remove the needle. Tie a double knot as tight as you can. So, you've got a square now, but see, when you fiddle with it, its shape changes. That's not very useful for buildings. Now do the same thing with 3 small tubes. Remember to always tie your knots very tight. Try to change the shape of the triangle. See, I told you, triangle is super strong. Now get your square, 4 little tubes and 2 long ones. You're going to build a cube. Start by making a second square. But don't forget, hold the other end of the thread so it does not pass completely through the tubes, otherwise you will have to do it all over again. With the 2 long tubes, you're going to add triangles inside your squares, so they become more rigid. Pass the threads through 2 sides of a square add a long tube and tie a double knot. Do the same on the second square. Solid? Yes. Now you can trim the end of your thread. Just leave roughly 1 centimeter. Now, adding 4 short and 4 long tubes, you're going to join your 2 squares and build a cube. First, pass the thread through a small tube, then on one side of one square, and finally a long tube. Tie a tight knot. Repeat exactly this on the 3 other sides of the square. It's important that each time you use first the small tube and then the longer tube. This should give you something looking like a windmill shape. You're going to use the threads left to attach each end of your 4 triangles to each corner of the other square. Look, you've got a beautiful cube, light but rigid. You can trim the threads again so it looks neater. Here you are, finished. Now repeat all of the steps to make new cubes. It's going to be very easy now that you've done it once. Play around with your cubes and create a bigger structure. You can tie them together with pieces of thread. This could be a house looking in 3 directions. And that looks like a temple. Or you can combine them by adding new tubes. You are going to use the short tubes for the square sides and the longer one to create triangles inside the squares. Add 2 small tubes between 2 cubes to create a new square. Don't forget the triangle. Now repeat the same operation on the opposite side. But look, no triangle there, it is all wobbly. So do as we did before and add a long tube to integrate triangles in the structure. You'll need at least 3 sides with diagonals to make your structure sturdy. Here you go, a tower. Or a bridge. Now cut the long threads remaining. Now you can have a go assembling your tubes and imagine your old building. Look, here is an example I made for you. That's only 5 cubes joined together with other tubes. Enjoy!